Hi Raashi, welcome.
Hi Kunark. So many of your reels I relate to. I've laughed my head off and I found them hilarious and I can completely relate to. It's been about 10 years since we started. Developing trust and a good relationship with your client will bring you a lot of clients.
You remember the names of your first clients? Wow,
of course. I give them all the credit, right, for start of my career.
You know, your big ticket size and stuff. Good question to the wrong guy. Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of my podcast. We have a very special guest with us today who has worked for more than a decade in the interior design industry. She's a Hyderabad-based interior designer coming from a solid design background. She has had the privilege of working with renowned personalities like Amir Hamida. She started her firm, the Inside Story Studio, 10 years ago, and she has worked on many remarkable projects since then. So, ज़्यादा देर ना करते हुए, let's start the episode. We have Raashi with us from the Inside Story Studio. So, Raashi, let's start. Tell us a little bit more about your firm, when you started, what was the background?
So it's been about 10 years since we started. It was honestly by chance. I got an offer for a project. I wasn't even looking. I was looking for jobs actually. I had just done my master's. And
Which year was that?
In 2013.
Okay.
So I had come back from London then. I had done my master's. I was planning to just join Amir Hamida again or look for another job.
Okay.
And I just got an opportunity. Some friend of mine from Oak Ridge, his parents wanted to get their house done in Aparna Towers in High Tech.
Okay.
And it was a 3-floor penthouse.
Oak Ridge is a very premium school in Hyderabad, by the way. So that was your high school. So you did your undergrad in designing?
I did my undergrad in NIFT.
And
in
undergrad
NIFT,
in
which
NIFT.
was product and furniture design.
Sure, and then postgrad in London? In designing as well?
In interior and spatial design.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah,
so you do have a full education
design
background. Okay,
right,
wonderful.
Design background. So it was just so hard to say no to that project. 3-floor penthouse as your first project, and you weren't even out looking for it, right?
Okay.
So, and it was a luxury project with a nice budget. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna.
So you
go
would have started
and look for a
alone,
job.
or did you have a team?
I started alone, and then I brought in my cousin Umang.
Okay.
I was like, I need to do this with somebody.
So Umang is your co-founder now?
Umang
as
is
in
my
your partner
co-founder.
in the firm?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
Wonderful.
he handles the execution, business development, that side, and I am in the design side.
Tell us a little bit more about this first project that you got. How did you get it, and how was the experience?
Actually, my clients, their names are the Rotanis. So they were very.
You remember
close.
the names of your first clients? Wow,
Of course.
that's fantastic.
It was such a big project.
Okay.
I give them all the credit, right, for start of my career. So they are big fans of Amir Hamida themselves, and they heard that I was working for them, and I think that already gained some trust, and they knew me from school, right, and we had already had a very good relationship.
Okay.
So over many meetings, we convinced them that we are the right people for this.
Okay.
And
this was a residential space?
Residential.
Okay.
It was a penthouse. It was around 4,000 square feet. 4,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
As your first project?
As my first
wow,
project.
that's great.
Yeah. So it was.
Many are not that lucky.
Yeah, I really consider myself lucky.
Okay, wonderful. So 10 years now? 10 years now?
10 years now.
So I think before when we were just chatting before this, you mentioned that you had picked up internship as well.
I did. So I was with Amir and Hamida.
Yeah, the famous architects.
The famous Amir. I mean, I was very lucky again to work with them. So it's part of my college in the last year that we have to look for an internship.
Okay.
So I had 2 people in my mind. One was Shabnam Gupta and one was Amir Hamida. I was obsessed with both of them, and I actually got the opportunity to work with both of them, but I ended up choosing Amir.
Wow, you had a choice.
I had a choice.
Great. Okay.
But
so to our viewers, tell us a little bit more about the importance of internships. You picked up one at your choice, but how important is to get one, take one, while you're in your college?
I think it's really important. Honestly, if I had to do it all over again, honestly, I'd work some more. I'd definitely be in the space working under someone, because you get to make all the mistakes you want to make. You get to learn so much. Otherwise, I pretty much learned it all on the job, you know, and at my cost.
Especially when the architects or the designers you're working with are big and they are quite renowned, and they pick up a lot of big size projects.
Exactly. There's just so much to learn from them, right? And their experience counts for everything in this field. So I think, I think it's very important to work under them.
Okay, that's a good message for all of those people who are doing the undergrads or postgrads. Pick up a nice internship if you can. Great if you have a choice. So to a lot of people who start out their careers right after their undergrads, tell me, you got a nice internship, but many probably would get some internship, but they would still need some more experience right after their colleges, undergrad, postgrad. So tell us, if given a choice, you would go back and still start entrepreneurship right after your college, or would you want to work for some more time?
I mean, okay, so I definitely do think that working with somebody is a whole different experience, and you should definitely do that. I do think that brings in a lot of learnings that you will not get, and you will, in college. In college doesn't give you so much, right? You have to learn on the job.
True.
I think that's something I would have changed, but again, so hard to say no to that big project that you get here, right? Like you're working independently. But yeah, we of course made a lot of mistakes on the way, and that's how you learn. But probably when you're working with someone else, it's easy to learn from their mistakes and easy to learn from their learnings from their own mistakes.
So it's right to say that, perhaps working for a little longer right after your college could be a good idea.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the most effective way or a certain number of ways to get more clients today?
So from my experience, I think doing a good project and developing trust and a good relationship with your client will bring you a lot of clients potentially organically, right? I think word of mouth is a great way to get clients.
So references, word of mouth.
Yeah, for sure. Like that, because this is such a space where there's a lot of sentiment attached to your space.
True.
So you need trust.
True.
Trust is a big thing. So I think a lot of big clients especially, they would definitely go by references. Instagram, of course. Social media is the next best thing, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Get us all the views.
Yes, please.
All right. So when I speak to a lot of architects and designers, we get to hear that they've been using different softwares for 2Ds, 3Ds. Some people use mood boards and whatnot. So what according to you is best, a certain software or a set of softwares or tools to which have your clients visualize the space that you're designing for them?
So let me just go about with, let me just tell you how we go about it. One is we start with multiple conversations with the client itself. We also do like a walkthrough with our client, trying to envision what they have.
So this is right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning, what they have as a vision, what they have envisioned for their space. Next, we give them a questionnaire to understand more details about their style, their personality, their requirements. And then we, with a lot of iterations and all, we come to a final mood board. So that mood board is really important, which then converts into the 3Ds.
Okay.
So that's how we do it.
Sure.
So that's how a client can envision their space.
Sure. I have a very interesting question there. So at what point in the process would you have the client then sign the agreement and then you sort of give them the mood boards or start designing as such?
So in the beginning of my career, yes, we made a lot of free proposals, but I would not suggest that. I do think if you have a portfolio already, I do think that you don't need to do that.
So start the conversation, kick it off, and then probably bring it up early, the agreement and the
definitely bring this. So after envisioning, like as I said, the walkthrough is important.
Okay, just that after is, the walkthrough.
Yeah, the walkthrough, you sit and you go to the site with the client and you tell them your ideas, you understand their ideas. That is the beginning of the conversation, them understanding you and what you have, what you will bring to the table. So, and that is when we hand out our contract.
Sure. So 10 years now, Raashi, tell me, do you get a fair idea of the client being serious about it or not by now? I'm sure a lot of clients would just reach out and after hearing from you about what you would want to tell them about their space, they would probably not sign up. So would you get a fair idea now after 10 years?
I do think so. I think it's you can make out now. If they're just shopping, window shopping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since we've been seeing your Instagram and your profile, your portfolio, you do both residential and commercial. Which one is your favorite, and what are the challenges that you face in both?
Right. So personally, I like commercial better.
Okay.
Because that's why I can go crazy with design. My creative side can come out, and clients do have a time limit, for example, to their projects, because time is money for them. And they just trust you, and they want their work to be done. Whereas residential, I still love it, but clients have a lot of requirements, wants, needs. They want to be part of the process because it's their home at the end of the day. So of course I appreciate that, but that stretches out a lot. So that is where my issues with residential come in. But that's why I prefer commercial.
So you get more liberty, you can be more experimental.
Definitely.
The ticket size is bigger.
And
how about the timelines?
Timelines are shorter, which is great.
But
I
you get all the time
that.
at the site.
Exactly. Not a lot of changes. Once it's finalized, there are not a lot of changes from the
And many people would want to just kickstart the business, whatever commercial space they're doing. They would want to just start it out soon, and therefore they would want to close on the designs and probably stick to it.
Exactly. Because as I said, time is money for them. Just for us also, time is money.
Absolutely.
So for them as well. So
interesting. We didn't do many commercial, but I think it would have been best if we started commercial right in the beginning. But to each their own. We are happy with residential.
You can still start. Why not?
Someday. I'm very keen to know about this. But tell me top 3 mistakes that people should avoid when they're doing commercial spaces.
Definitely. Time. Do not try to squeeze in everything in 30 days. Give it some minimum amount of time.
Agreed.
Next, BOQs. Go into the detail. Definitely. Third is do not do piecemeal designing. Don't say that I'll take this.
Can't agree more.
The designer has a vision. So let them execute it. They are obviously looking at 10 things at the same time. True. You're only looking at that one thing. So
I think that's very right. Many people have told me that it's best to let the designer do everything for you, because that's the reason you hired them. Don't break it. Don't break the flow. Don't cut it into meals and take partially to yourself. Don't do that. Okay. So my next question to you, and this is my last question. I hope you're watching my reels.
Yes, of course.
We do some funny ones, and there are some reels where we're talking about a typical scene between a client and us, my designers, myself, and many more others in our teams. Do you think some of them are offensive? We should not talk about the scenes that we see every day.
I don't think so.
Clients?
I don't think at all. In fact, I think you've given a humorous twist to it, so it's not bad. Secondly, I do think that being candid about your experiences make a lot of your architects and fellow architects and interior designers feel not so alone. Everyone goes through these experiences. As long as you're not being personal and mentioning any names or tagging anybody, it's okay. I think it's absolutely fine. In fact, so many of your reels I relate to. I've laughed my head off and I found them hilarious, and I can completely relate to.
Thanks for the validation, because that's much needed, because I get a lot of DMs where people would want me to do more of these reels, and then there are people who would tell me, my clients could find it offensive.
Decide after that?
यार ऐसे लगाना है क्या? लग गया. But the reason why I put these reels is because I truly want to show what happens with designers and architects on a daily basis. As in, there are good parts. There are reels where I talk about the not so good parts in our ecosystem. The mistakes that we do. A lot of times we get a lot of thrashing from the client. All of that also we put out there. So all of it is a mix of different things that happen with us, and not as much about the clients. So remember that.
So Konark, I had a few questions for you. Firstly, what do you prefer, residential or commercial?
We've been doing residential for the longest time now. I think after hearing from you about your big ticket size and stuff, I think commercial would be a good idea. But I think residential is what we have cracked in all these years, and that's what works best for us.
Tell me, what is more important, the money or the design?
I think that's a Good question to the wrong guy. My co-founder Sahiba is the designer, and I'm the business guy. I think we had just the right mix when we started out our design firm 16. She was the designer, I was the business guy. But if you ask me if I were to do it myself, I think I wouldn't do a good job, because I would be the guy who would always think about numbers, and this is one business which needs a lot of creativity, which needs a lot of free thinking. So yeah, the short answer would be I am not the designer.
When you got a client and you give them your fees, and what if they think you're too expensive? How do you deal with that?
That's a great question. I think what we always end up telling them is that in our past projects we brought a lot of value on the table, in terms of the BOQs to start with. We give a lot of transparency in the BOQs.
Right.
We tell them that we have a full-fledged team for every single step in the process, right from designing to execution to servicing later on. So we give them a lot of knowledge about our processes and our teams, and then I think we leave it there. We don't really try to convince them on why you're expensive and stuff, because if you do that, you are automatically sort of belittling yourself.
Right.
We shouldn't do that. I mean, that's my belief for sure, that one should not try doing that, because if you compare yourself with somebody who's cheaper or rather affordable, I would say you're belittling yourself again. So don't try that. Just stick to your basics. Just tell people why you're important. I think which we try by telling them our value.
Right. Do you pick and choose your clients also? Like, have you said no? If you understood that the client is not a fit for you?
Yeah, that's the case now. I think we've been very fortunate over all of these years. I think now, last 2-3 years, we got a lot of clients, got a lot of interest from many people, and we have actually said no to a lot of people. In the beginning, it was very difficult because we would just pick up everything that came our way.
Right.
But then we realized, more than anything else, it's this first, chemistry matching that happens right when you speak with somebody, and then obviously the budget has to match, the wavelength has to match, and so on and so forth. So if you have a lot of leads coming your way, if you are getting good business, then you would, get in this mode where you can pick up some liberty and say no to a few clients politely without sort of being offensive. But yeah, I think last 2 years we've had clients whom we've said no. So
Right.
Yeah, that's how it is today.
Thanks for the answers.
Right.
Wow guys, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation and it was so enlightening. ऐसे ही conversations और insights के लिए ही तो ये podcast है. I hope कि आप सबको भी episode पसंद आया होगा. Please do not forget to like this video, share it with as many people as you can. Also subscribe to our channel for more such episodes and follow us on Instagram.